I need you to say and spell your name first.
All right, my name is Cheyenne Osuela. It's Cheyenenne. Then last name is Osuala.
Okay, and just if you could give us a synopsis as to why you guys are here today before you get really going.
So we're here today because this past Monday, Dee Garrett, after being on house arrest for 6 months and wrongly and quite frankly disgustingly spending weeks in jail after being assaulted, beat up, and slandered by LMPD officers, including Officer Aaron Ambers, then damn near being forced to plead guilty to protest-related charges, was released from jail on Monday on good behavior. This was a glimmer of light for all of us. We went out to dinner to celebrate his freedom, which he hasn't been able to do in over 6 months. The prosecutor on his now closed case, Rebecca Shoring, went onto my Facebook account and watched my live stream while me and Dee were at dinner and saw that he had been released on good behavior. She was so infuriated by this that she called Dee's lawyer saying that he needed to turn himself in or she was going to have him arrested, which of course he replied with, how can you have him arrested when there's no charges against him? I mean, he has no cases in district court. So she ended up putting a court date or a preliminary hearing onto the court docket for the next morning, which gave David no time to go, David is his lawyer, to go and, get paperwork from the jail to, prove that he was correctly released. He was released on good behavior. So he had court yesterday, and we thought there was no way. There's no way. Her argument wouldn't even sound right in court. I mean, he was released on good behavior, and you're mad about it, so put him back in the jail. So to a degree, we really weren't worried about anything. So we go to court, and the judge agrees to change the hearing to Friday, but goes ahead and says, well, I feel like the jail made a mistake, so we're going to go ahead and take him in now anyways. So he's currently in jail after, again, being on house arrest for 6 months. He was violated on his HIP, his house arrest, because his employer, his boss, sent him to another location at his job. And what would normally be a slap on the wrist or worse, a 3-day to 10-day sanction, he spent weeks in jail and had to wait until his court case was closed. So it got closed, he got sentenced, he got released on good behavior, and then they put him back in. He is in there with no charges and no case open, taking up space for no reason. So that is why we're here today, to say that we see this, it's not right, and we don't think they should be doing this.
Okay. I have, of course, questions, but I know you guys have more than one person wanting to say something, so I think the best thing is to have everybody get through, and then I just have a few questions for you guys, and then we can do that at the end.
Okay, sounds good. All right.
You need me to spell my name?
Yes, sir.
My name is Jabril Israel. Do I need to look in the camera?
No, you can look at me, yeah.
My name is Jabril Israel, spelled JibriLizrael.
Okay. I know you were planning to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we're here to demand the release of Denora Garrett. Denora Garrett moved to Louisville, Kentucky from Ohio in order to fight for justice for Breonna Taylor. This is a young man that relocated from Ohio, not for his own concern, but to serve and help someone else. Now, regardless of what the public may think of Denora Garrett, I know he has a past criminal history, yada, yada, yada. This is a young man that has reformed himself and transformed his character to be a servant of society. Now, he was incarcerated into the corrections system. The corrections system is supposed to function to help rehabilitate criminals. This young man was released on good behavior. That means that whatever therapy that the jail system wanted to offer Denora Garrett apparently had been working, because the people that were in charge of overseeing and keeping him in jail said to themselves, this young man's behavior is so exemplary that he doesn't need to be here. Demonstrated to the police and the correction system that he is a reformed individual. This is what we're seeking. when people are incarcerated and put into the correction system. He was released on good behavior. This is a young man that came here to fight for the freedom and for the justice of Breonna Taylor. No, I say we're fighting for freedom. Listen, every African American that was caught up in the protests, we're fighting for our freedom. Not just justice. Justice is important, but for freedom. And a lot of times we don't even understand what that really means, but we're trying. Yet we are demonized. We are imprisoned. We are attacked by our police system. And Denora Garrett, once again, was viciously beaten by police officers right across the street on TV. On TV because he had the audacity. He had the courage to stand up to a tyrannical police system. And some of the police officers, like the prosecutor, who had him incarcerated again after he was released on good behavior. Some of the officers are ticked off by people that have the audacity and the courage to stand up and say, we're not going to take this anymore. This is a young man that walks around with a humongous cross. Not a rifle, not a pistol. He walks with a cross as he protests. He was beaten viciously by police officers while he was not resisting arrest. This is not a threat to society. This is a young man that was released on good behavior, yet he needs to be incarcerated again. For what? For what? I'll tell you why. Because some officers feel they have the power to exert and use the leverage of the criminal justice system to express their own emotional biases, their own political biases against people who choose or have the audacity and courage to stand up against them. We are demanding that Denora Garrett be released, and we're also demanding that the officers that are guilty for crippling his life further be reprimanded severely. He has a 5-year-old daughter that watched him get beat down. He has a 5-year-old daughter that relocated here with him and knows her father is incarcerated for what? For standing up for justice. This young lady will be traumatized and scarred by these events for the rest of her life. This will define her life. This is what our police system does to us. And that's why we're here today, to bring light to these issues and to demand the freedom and the release of Denora Garrett. Thank you very much. Somebody took the mic. Bless you.
Hello, I'm Sarah. I'm a local attorney here in Kentucky. I was able to pull up his docket yesterday, and he was sentenced on October 22nd for 185 days. He served 143 of those days, as well as serving additional days before he was released on good time. He served 79.5% of his entire sentence, but the prosecutor didn't like it. She put a preliminary hearing on less than 12 hours after she saw that he was in public. The reason for the preliminary hearing, and I quote, is clarification on sentence. Rather than clarifying that sentence and that good release, they reincarcerated him and pushed the hearing to a later date to determine what his sentence was, which they already know. This was the judge who issued that sentence. He was released on good behavior by the jail. I've personally never heard of a prosecutor being able to go around that jailing system, say that it is her role to decide when a prisoner, when an inmate can be released, rather than the jail that is housing him. I just personally have never heard of that. I don't understand the docket on this case, and I don't understand why he has been reincarcerated after he has served 80% of his sentence and was rightfully released by the people who hold those powers. That's why I'm here today.
Who else is wanting to speak? Okay. Okay, sir, go ahead. Your name is?
My name is Jason, Jason, last name Smiley, Smiley.
Okay.
Yep, I'm here today, and upon coming here to the corner of 6th and Jefferson, or now we're at the Hall of Justice, I learned that Denora Garrett has been reincarcerated, which I'm quite confused and don't know how that works. Based on my extent of legal knowledge, I don't know how it's possible, but given the circumstances, like I said, I am a social worker, and I mean, this definitely has a severe impact on his daughters, both of them, and I don't know how this is okay, but as you know, as I've been through my own share of issues that I'm still even going through them now. I'm not going to stop. I'm never going to stop. You know, this is about justice. So I don't understand why the black experience in America continues to be of a meager, value or significance, and why our experiences, why our lives don't matter. This is a prime example. So, I mean, I understand if the prosecutor or judges don't like it, oh well, but hey, if anything, I'm more powerful than y'all. We all out here are more powerful than y'all, whether y'all believe it or not. We are more powerful, literally. I mean that literally. This is not figurative or metaphorical. We are more powerful. And if anything, God is more powerful. God will do something about this. When you're going to meet God one day, and it's either up or down. You're going up or down. That's all I can say about this. But there will be justice. We're not going to stop, and I'm definitely not going to stop. I thought it was going to be the end of it, but it's obviously not going to be the end of it, because they're still, hurting us in any ways that they can. And even though I've called a break on my own end, well, it ain't about me. It's about helping everybody else. I'm for black liberation. That's why I'm here, and I'm going to keep going until black liberation is achieved.
All right.
Okay.
All right, Jessica.
Hi.
Hello.
My name is Jessica Fowler.
Okay.
I kind of been out here since the beginning days, and you know what I'm saying, I've been watching everybody. You know what I'm saying? We're all like family out here. Something happens to one person, something happens to us all. So, for them to arrest him again, you know what I'm saying, that brought me back outside, because I haven't been out here in a while. You know what I'm saying? I've been trying to get my mental health back together since the protest. So, like, I just feel like he shouldn't have been arrested again. And I demand justice for Dee. We all demand justice for Dee.
Right.
So we here today. We here, all of us, family, demanding justice for him. And we're going to keep going. We're not going to stop until justice is served. Not for just Dee, but for Breonna Taylor also. And I'm done.
What was he? Yeah, and my only question really, because you guys have pretty much answered them, is just where are y'all wanting to go from here? What is y'all's intent after we leave this this news conference? Just what?
Is to keep the awareness up.
Okay. Yeah. Any ways that you guys might be able to do that? I just didn't know if there's a plan for what you're going to do past this point, and if you could tell us what that is. So that would be my only question.
How you put this on here?
For one. Two, we're not going to stop Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor still needs justice. This situation is really to bring light to what the justice system is doing and how bad it's failing. You don't know what it's like to listen to a 5-year-old girl cry on the phone about missing her daddy, and her knowing and seeing him get beat up on the corner of 6th and Jefferson for no reason, for standing there with a cross as a Christian man, and knowing that her dad is in jail when he's doing the best thing he can be doing during this time. So that's where I'm at with it. They need to release
We're
Dee
also
Garrett.
going to do everything we can to make sure prosecutors are accountable to the public that they're entitled to protect. I've never heard of this type of move from a prosecutor, and I think it's inappropriate for them to exercise their power in this way. It leads to further corruption in a system that already is so questionable, to put it as kindly as I possibly can. The prosecutors are accountable to the public that they protect, and this is not protection, this is not accountability. Reincarcerating someone who's been rightfully released is not her role. And we want to make sure prosecutors are held accountable for these overexertions of power.
And if they don't fix this, we will take it up in this courthouse if we need to.
Okay.
In closing.
Yes, I'm Rhonda Mathis, and this is a miscarriage of justice for Dee. I'm calling on Tom Wine to investigate his prosecutor what is her underlying motive for doing this. Even with the judge, just to sign off, it's more or less like the no-knock warrants. He just take her word and no investigation and saying that it's all right. No, it is violence against him. I'm calling on our white allies to flood Tom Wine's office with telephone calls and ask questions and hold her accountable and hold this judge accountable for this young black man, a family man. He's been transparent as far as with his past, but his past is his past. He has moved forward and been a productive citizen in its community. So why do they continue to prosecute him? The police who beat him in the face, and they were not held accountable even with the mandate that they supposed to hold each other accountable, and no hand was raised to stop that beating on him. No good reason why he was beat down and handcuffed. That could have been his life. This could be his life because he's traumatized. His family is traumatized. His body is traumatized. He went through COVID locked up. So I say it's a violent act against the justice system. We know it's broken. So when are you, the community, is going to speak out? How can we fix this? We can fix this when we see justice. Enough is enough. Free D now. Flood Tom Wine's office now. We are going to be putting pictures out on this prosecutor, on this judge. When he run, we're going to make sure that we're going to hold his picture up to take away his seat. Enough is enough. We want justice and freedom and liberty for all, but stop attacking our young black men.
Right.
Free D!
Free D! Free D! Free D! Free D! Free D! Free D! Free D! Free D!
That was powerful. That was powerful.
Do okay?
Spoke the truth. You heard it here at 6th and Jefferson and on the steps in front of the front doors of the courthouse. Community coming together, speaking up, and trying to raise awareness that Dee was put back in jail. More information on that to come. Cheyenne Oswala there in the orange and black. Jabril Israel. Of course, Rhonda Matthews. We're going to stand up and be here for Dee. Until next time, if you do nothing else, hope you stay alive.